How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the potential for Donald Trump to be impeached. How would this happen? Why would it happen? What's going on with the situation? How did we get here today? Now, before I even get too deep into it, let's explain how we got here today. Who was behind this whole situation? Now, I know many of you know, like I know, that the left, the Democrats, they have been totally triggered, totally upset since the 2016 campaign cycle and the ensuing election, which has brought Donald Trump into the office. They don't like that. They want Donald Trump out of the White House, and they're trying to do everything they possibly can to have their goal achieved. And the main reason why they want this to happen is because they can't get over Hillary Clinton losing. They had all their eggs in the Hillary Clinton basket. They thought they were going to be able to have the first black president, and then that would be a nice segue into the first female president. They hinged their whole thing on identity politics. When it didn't work out the way they intended, it became a lot of hatred, a lot of bloodlust, a lot of vengeful negative energy that just got dispersed out there in the world, which is what you're seeing right now with the whole witch hunt into trying to impeach Trump. The main thing, or one of the first things they tried to do, was to have him attached to the big bad Russians, trying to talk about, oh, he's Vladimir Putin's puppet. He's doing things for them. Russia this, Russia that, Russia, Russia, Russia. That's all you heard for a very long time, and you're still hearing it a lot to this day. Now, that whole dead horse has been beat over and over and over and over again. At this point, it is a zombie. You might as well call it the pinata at this point because it gets beat so much. The only bad thing about that pinata is that there's no candy coming out of it. There's no actual yield from it. There's no smoking gun. There's no really incriminating thing. The deeper they dig into this whole Russia kerfuffle, the more they find on Hillary Clinton. Now we know that the whole Russia dossier, that crazy document, talking about Trump had hookers peeing on the bed. I mean, stupid stuff. Some nasty erotica fan fiction. That whole thing came from the Hillary Clinton campaign. She paid Christopher Steele through Fusion GPS or whatever that company was to produce that, to have dirt on the Trump campaign. All right. And people are starting to realize that this bogus, there's nothing really there. So I think the media is kind of tapering off of that a little bit, but now they're trying to pivot into Trump being a pig, a misogynist, or racist, a sexist, or whatever. And they have the Playboy Playmate, I forget her name, but I'll put that in the box. And you also have, obviously, the porn star Stormy Daniels. Now they're trying to say that he is a philanderer, he cheats on his wife, he paid his women off to influence the election, which, by the way, that's not actually illegal. None of what I mentioned, the allegations that I mentioned, are illegal. I don't see a law that says it's illegal to cheat on your wife. Of course it is unethical, obviously, but is it illegal? Can you go to jail for that? Can you go to jail for being a candidate and paying women off during the election? No, you can't. As a candidate, you can give whatever you want to your campaign, 100%, because remember, when he came out at first, which is why many of us were drawn to Trump initially, he said, I'm going to finance my own campaign. You can do that. There's no limit to the money you can give your own campaign. You can spend all your money in your campaign if you want to. However, if you're a guy like Michael Cohen, which we'll talk about right now, you cannot give more than $5,200, or right around that amount of money. If you give any more than that, that is actually against the law, because you are not the candidate. You are basically a donor to the campaign. However, if Trump says to Cohen, hey, you pay off Stormy Daniels and the other girl X amount of money, and then I'll pay you back, that's totally legal, because you're acting on behalf of the president, and in effect, you become part of the campaign, which would get funded by the president anyway, whatever kind of money he wants. He can give the campaign, like I said, all his money, all his earthly possessions if he wants to, because that's his campaign. He is not a donor on the outside. It's for him. So he can donate whatever he wants on his own behalf. He can also have money get paid by somebody else that he reimburses. That's totally legal. However, Michael Cohen, Michael Flynn, and Paul Manafort have all gotten kind of jammed up here. Cohen had a plea bargain because they got him on some other stuff. You know, they're talking about tax evasion. They're talking about, just little ticky-tack stuff. Same thing with Paul Manafort. And a lot of the stuff that they're talking about happened before the campaign, but because the federal government wants to bring down Trump through Bob Mueller, then they'll try to get guys on a lower level like Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort. They'll get them a little ticky-tack stuff to get them to plea down, okay? They could have easily gotten Michael Cohen on those crimes they got him on years before, but he was unimportant to the federal government then. It's all kind of money that gets spent on these cases from the feds. You're talking about millions of dollars. Why would they spend that on little ticky-tack stuff from some lawyer? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You get guys like organized crime bosses, Al Capone, stuff like that on tax evasion from the federals. You don't do that for some random nobody unless you're trying to get to a bigger fish. In this case, it's Donald Trump. They found nothing from Paul Manafort at all. I mean, zero. All they found from Michael Cohen was an allegation that Trump had an affair with these two women and he told Cohen to pay them off for their silence. That's it. Hush money or whatever. Hush money is legal. You can do that. If you come to somebody and say, hey, I don't want you to talk about a certain thing. Here's a contract. Here's some money. If you sign that, then you can't say anything and I'm reimbursing you for your troubles. I'm compensating you for your troubles. That's totally legal. That's not against the law. Now they're trying to say he was trying to influence the campaign. Trump, that is. Well, duh. That's what a campaign is. You're trying to influence the election to get them to vote for you. That's not actually illegal. The bigger thing here was that they had Cohen on some other crimes that were unrelated, but I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, so I'm going to digress. My whole point here is that the left, a lot of the deep state swamp, they're trying to get Trump out because Trump is not the guy that you can actually control. They wanted Hillary Clinton in there because she would be easily malleable. You could tell Hillary Clinton, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. And she'd do it. Same thing with a lot of other guys that were on the right who do not have the kind of finances that Trump has, which is, again, part of the reason why I was drawn to Trump. He had much of his own money going into his campaign. He was not so controlled by outside forces. Now, to people like myself, that's a great thing, right? Because we don't want our candidates to be controlled by outside forces. But to those who are on the outside, the deep staters, the neocons, the liberals, the crazy alternative left or whatever, they don't like the fact that Trump can't be controlled. They want their own puppet in there. They want a person that's going to follow their particular commands. That's what's going on with that, which is why they're trying to do all these different things. The Russia situation, Stormy Daniels, they're calling him a racist, sexist, homophobic. They're coming up with new words to call Trump. I mean, you're talking about IQ, and then he gets called racist for talking about IQ. I mean, the craziest, stupidest things that you ever see in your life have now been hurled at the president because these evil people want to get a person in there that could be controlled. And it's not really working. What Trump said on the Fox News interview about the market potentially collapsing if he were to be impeached, I believe is true because Trump represents a lot of different people. He represents a lot of security and confidence, which is why you have a high consumer confidence in the stock market right now, in the economy in general right now. People feel secure and safe to be able to spend money. That was not the case some years ago. They felt like, the government or the country is very fragile. It could fall apart anytime. So if you don't really feel secure, if you don't have confidence, you're more likely to hoard your money because you don't want to not have it when you need it, when things fall apart, when you lose your job or whatever the case may be. You want to have access to capital. But when you feel like things are going great, your job is going great, you have confidence, you're more likely to spend. Without Trump there, a lot of that confidence will go away. And that's what a lot of the stock market is all about. It's all about confidence. Do you have confidence to be able to buy or whatever? Now, much of that confidence is warranted. Some of it is not. I'll admit to that. Some of it is kind of artificial. But regardless of the situation, regardless of whether it's real, fake, or whatever, what Trump said here is correct. If he were to be impeached and subsequently removed, because we all know that impeachment does not necessarily mean removal. Slick Willie got impeached for having a little, shindig in the Oval Office, but he did not get actually removed from office. He just went through the process of determining should it be removed or not, which is called impeachment, but I digress. What Trump said is correct. If he were to go through the process and then get removed, it'd be a bad thing. But again, the left, the crazy people on the far left, the alt left, the neocons, the never Trumpers on the right, they don't really care about the effects on the country, on the people, if Trump were to be removed or to be impeached. They're more worried about trying to control the country in the way they see fit. People don't care. Like, it doesn't matter if we become second world, third world, or whatever, Banana Republic, South Africa, or something like that. Nah, that doesn't really matter. All they want is control. All they want is power. And I think many of us starting to understand that right now, which is why black support has risen for Trump. Hispanic support has risen for Trump. A lot of people all over the world have a lot of respect and confidence in the president. People are starting to see that all this stuff from the media is phony. It's not real. And impeachment would be the worst possible thing you could do at this particular moment. So what do you think? Do you think that Trump should be impeached? If that's your assertion, please explain to me why. Why should he be impeached? Because you don't like the way he talks? Is he too brash? Is he too bold? Did he commit any kind of offense? Is he a criminal? Did he break the law? If he broke the law, please explain to me what law he broke. I'd love to see it. I'm not saying you're incorrect. I'm not trying to judge a person I've never talked to before, but let me know what the law is that he broke. I've seen lawyers get on television and say that there were no laws broken, and the whole Stormy Daniels kerfuffle between him and Cohen, the Russia situation. What is any evidence that exists that shows Trump breaking a law in there? I don't really know, but do you think that I'm correct? Do you think that Trump should not be impeached, that if he were to be impeached, that it'd be a serious impact on the country in a negative way? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.